Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto Channel. We are live. It is Thursday. How is everyone? Everybody good? Got a lot going on. Bitcoin dumping, guys. Look at that. Look at that. I hope you learn who to listen to and who not to listen to in this space. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. Bitcoin dumping down to below previous all-time high, something they said could never be done. And then when it happened last cycle, they said it's a fluke, it could never be done again, and it just got did. So, yeah, Bitcoin below previous all-time high, kind of right at it right now. A little baby bounce from there, but we're going to take a look at it. I have a poll going in chat. If you guys will hit that up for me. When do you think Bitcoin bottoms? Are we close? Is it about to happen any day now? Maybe in a few months? Or is it going to be like this fall, winter time like it always is? Historically, it has always, ALWAYS, always been 1 year to the month from the top. Is that going to hold true? Or is everyone looking at this wrong? I'm curious as to what you think. I have an opinion, and we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Let's see who's here, though. Let's see who's here. Thanos, my main man, my guy. Thanos, Max. What's up, dude? Dagbjort, my favorite Icelander. Yes, I like it when you're here. Thanks for being here. Carrie Benz, morning, brother. Salt Chain, what's happening? John, wish I stayed in the 98K short. Yeah, you and me both. We had nailed, guys, we nailed that 98K short, and I closed it. I mean, I can't complain. I made like 6 or 7 grand between that and the short we took at 93K. So I can't complain, but I should have made about 50 grand if I'd have stayed in. Cat, what's going on? How are you? Good morning. Thank you for being here. Glad you guys are here. All right, so if you're just joining us, please take a minute to hit up the poll. We're going to take a look at a few things this morning. Kind of watching Bitcoin right now. We did have a little bit of news. Get ready for the flashbang. We did have a little bit of, excuse me, jobs report came out this morning, and it was bullish. It was bullish. Sorry about that. That just goes to show bullish news, not much reaction. That goes to show how weak and scared, a lot of fear in the market right now. However, the big report, which we've talked about all week, is tomorrow, the unemployment rate. So we'll see if that misses the mark, no matter what. If that misses the mark, which it's only about 50-50 to miss the mark. Halftime it does, halftime it doesn't. If that misses the mark, you will get a big reaction one way or the other. So that is tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So it'll be before we go on stream, but you can believe in the Discord, VIP Discord, I will be letting you know as I watch it. But the reaction is going to be fast, so you need to be watching it yourself. By the time I see it, enter my trade and let you know, that initial big reaction will have already happened. So you're best to be watching it and hitting the refresh button around that time. Getting a little move here, guys. We got in some trades. We got in as quite a, God, yesterday was one of the easiest trading days I've seen in a long time, guys. And we're going to go over that. And I was in the Discord, and I was letting you guys know every single time I hit a trade. You can see these trades. I'm entering trades. I'm posting them as I enter them. Did I do it in this other channel, too? I may have did it in both channels. Yeah, I did there. I was posting them all over the place. We were just entering trades. I got in like 4. I think I want to say 4 swing failure patterns, 4 or 5 SFPs. It just kept 1 minute SFP in different levels. You get the SFP with the confirmed SFP and the confirmed bullish divergence, ride it up, make a few $100, and then it would roll back over and do it again. And it was just, let's look at it. Let's look at it, guys. You just kept setting swing low after swing low yesterday. I mean, it could not have been a better, an easier or better trading day. We got in lots of these. Where were we at? Yesterday, the U.S. session. I mean, we just kept on like all day long. We started out in the morning here, and you know, we came and hit an SFP here. Boom, hit it right there. Nailed that little baby short. Come back, did it all again right there. Then it danced around for a little bit, then it came back and hit it again, nailed that one, Did it again a few minutes later. I mean, it just kept on. Nailed that. I even got a couple in this morning. We'll take a look at some P&Ls. Hit some alt trades yesterday too. Basically what I was doing, I didn't get any of the good altcoin signals. We've been talking about the alt trades we're going to do that I'm going to share with the Discord. I've not gotten any of those signals, okay? These are just small moves. And so basically what I was doing is, as I was like this SFP here, I'm pretty sure I took this trade. I know I took this trade. This SFP here, when we swing failure pattern this, and I entered my leverage trade on Bitcoin, right, to ride up, I also bought altcoins. I would buy the alts right here too, just a spot buy, and I would just ride up for, you know, like a 1% gain or so, something like that. Just buy and sell. Boom. That's it. That's all I did. I did that a couple times yesterday. West Coast morning. Caribbean says unemployment rate got delayed for next week, February 10th. Really? It's still showing it on here. Let me go into it. It's still showing it. It may have. I know the JOLTS job report got delayed, but I haven't seen the unemployment getting delayed yet. But I know that JOLTS got delayed. We're supposed to have that on Tuesday. And you all know that investing's not loading. Yeah, you are correct. Scratch what I said earlier. No volatility tomorrow. No unemployment volatility anyway. Good call on that. They haven't updated the main screen yet, but good call on that. February 11th, so they pushed that back about a week. So next Thursday. Good call. We'll be here anyway tomorrow. Join us. We'll be here anyway. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing. Anyway, just a super easy trading day yesterday, guys. Not huge profits because Bitcoin didn't do anything. I mean, unless you were riding a short from higher, you know, unless you were riding a short from way up here and you were just SFP longing, you couldn't make very much unless you were using stupid money and stupid leverage. I don't mean stupid. I mean like stupid, ridiculous, like ridiculously high. You know, you couldn't make much. Just a little bit. Boom, you got to get out. You know, hit the SFP or take profit, get out. But we did make some money. Let's see where we're at. $1,700 in leverage trades, and I gave all of these. I had somebody message me yesterday, because I put out a short that talked about YouTubers or crypto Twitter guys faking their reports and faking their P&L cards and never to trust the guys that don't live trade. And they were like, well, you show P&L cards. How do we know those aren't fake? I'm like, well, first of all, I live trade, so I enter these trades. Second of all, you can fake a P&L card, but you can't really fake these. You can't fake these. I know that's a screenshot, but I do these live too. This will be really, really hard to fake, because in order to fake this, you have to have exact current price action at the time that you share this with people. So I can't fake that. When I post this, it has to be live current price. So that's not fakeable. And I just don't fake stuff. But I get what you're saying. So let's go in for those of you that think we might fake, and let's just pull up the old profit for today, $17.20 US. This is a live account right here, guys. That is the profit for the day. Okay, so if you're watching the stream, Mr. DMer, there's my live profit from today. Okay, $17.20. And that was on a about a $5,500 account. So, man, listen, I understand it's not $10,000 profit on the day, but there's just no $10,000 trade to be had, and I'm not trading with 100x leverage. So, not too shabby. Not only that, I did go back and screenshot this from yesterday's video. This was we're doing the spot trade, so I screenshotted this from yesterday, our Kraken balance on my spot trade. I started out on Sunday with $55,000. I showed you guys that, and then yesterday we were up 2,200 or so. We're at 57.2. You can see that there. And then this morning we're at 58.6. So 57.2 to 58.6. Put on another 1,400 yesterday in spot trades. So we're up $3,100 on the day today, from yesterday to today. $3,100 profit yesterday. And on our spot trades, we're up 3,600 since Monday. We started trading these Monday. So that's just simple spot trades. That's not even our big trades. We haven't gotten any big alt trades, none of our 10, 20, 30 percenters. This is just me kind of like skimming here and there when I enter a Bitcoin trade. So if you've never thought about that, like if you believe in your trade, if you have real confirmations and confluence, and you're entering a Bitcoin long, for example, and you have extra money on your Kraken or your Coinbase, which you should never use Coinbase, but I digress. If you believe in that long and you have your confirmations on Bitcoin, well, you know altcoins pretty much follow Bitcoin, so why not make a little extra by just spot buying your alt right there? And when you're riding your Bitcoin up, as soon as I do my TP1 on Bitcoin, whenever I do my TP1, maybe not my final target, but as soon as I do my TP1, I close out my alts. I sell my alts. Boom. So I may pick up 0.25%, 0.5%, not much, for the balance that I'm using. Maybe $200, $300, $400 each time. Yeah, if I can do that 4 or 5 times a day, I mean, I pick up an extra $1,000, $1,500 bucks. Easy. I'm already doing the trade with Bitcoin. I don't want to leverage trade my alts because they're too volatile, but I don't mind spot trading them. So just think about that for those of you that are interested in spot alts. That doesn't even include the big signals that I'm going to give you, where I'm expecting a minimum. Every signal that I give the Discord, I'm going to expect a minimum of 5% gain, if not 10 to 20, 30%ers, but a minimum of 5%. I'm not going to give you the quick in and outs like that because some people just don't react fast enough. You may not see my posts for 2 hours, and I'm already in and out of the trade by then. But if I give you a trade, it'll be good. Should be good. John says, I think I like the spot trading strategy a lot better. So much less stress. Not sure I'm a leveraged scalper. It happens. It happens. Yeah, for sure. You can't lose spot trading alts. You cannot lose spot trading alts. Listen to me, guys. I know what you think. You can lose at anything. Yeah, technically, the 99.9% chance that reverse that. 0.01% chance so your altcoin goes to zero, you can lose, okay? There is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. But 99.9% of the time, you can't lose, especially right now. The only way to lose on an altcoin is for you to willingly choose to sell for less. Otherwise, like if your alt, let's just look, if your alt comes down, like let's just say you bought here, and why is this green? I like yellow. And you bought there, and your alt comes down, you can choose to sell there and take a loss. You can choose, or you can just wait a little bit. It may take you a few days or a couple weeks, but when it comes back up, you sell for profit. You can't lose. So you de-risk. Unlike if you were to leverage trade this, right? And what I mean by that, like if you were to leverage trade this, leverage trade long, and you were to come down, you could get liquidated or stopped out right there and lose. But on spot, you can't. You can't. Only you decide if you lose. Now, if you bought the top, you may never come back to the top again. I'm sorry if you did that. You shouldn't have listened to whoever told you it was going to go higher. You should have listened to Anthony Lee Crypto when we told you this stuff was over with. Anyway, that's enough of the soapbox rants. Spot trading is best, but currently alts are in free fall, not much upside momentum. That is correct, my friend. That is correct. However, I'm going to show you something that I believe proves that is about to stop, at least temporarily. I do think there's much more downside for most alts, but relief is on the way, guys, and I'm going to show you why in just a few minutes. Max, I closed my short at 70K, made over $8,000. Thank you for putting us on that monthly EMA cross. I sent you the P&L this morning. Awesome, bro. I haven't checked my messages this morning, so I didn't see it yet. I went to the gym this morning. I went to the warehouse gym. So I'll check that. $8,000, man. Yeah, Max is one of those, in case you don't know, that was short from I think it was the 93K trade that I took live in the VIP Discord with you guys. I went live for that. Max took that short, and he was one of the ones. I didn't want to name names about who was updating me on their P&L, but Max was one of those guys. So, Max, good job, bro. You held up for a 23K move to the downside. Nice job, dude. $8,000 in like 2 weeks. Good job on one trade. How are alts holding up right now? Terrible. we talked about XRP yesterday. I know we pulled up the XR Pizzle because I've had several, not just one. I'm not singling anyone out. We had several people like, oh God, XRP, and I'm like, XRP is terrible. It's one of the worst looking charts. It looks good, like it looks bull run good. Like this looks good. That looks bull run good. But unlike the other charts, let me show you. Like I always just go to WorldCoin, for example. WorldCoin's got your value area range. You're significantly below that. Algorand, value area range. You are right at the bottom of the value area range. See, right near the bottom here. And yeah, that's bad. That doesn't look good. That's bad. But like, really? When you're at the bottom of the macro value range, and this is a 7-year altcoin. This is not an altcoin that you're at the bottom of the range that's been around for 6 months. This is a macro bottom for a 7-year history. How much lower can you really go? Really? How much lower can you really expect to go? But when you look at XRP, and don't be fooled to thinking this makes it a stronger coin because it's not near the bottom. There is a one word, one syllable, 3 letters, yet. It is going there, guys. It's just not there yet. So this looks awful, okay? I would much rather buy Algorand right now than XRP. Because how much further down can Algorand really go? Sure, it can go a little lower, but come on now. You're right near a 7-year macro support line that you've never broken before. And you got this massive imbalance on XRP. Here's your support level here. You can see the clear support here with all this chop. This looks terrible. And since we called that, first of all, I encouraged everyone to sell their alts back here somewhere, or at least that's when I sold mine. When XRP was about $2, and today it's, since that time, it is down about 30, a little over 30%, and 10% on the day. So they look terrible, and coins like this look way worse. People hold. I'm telling you, I went and looked yesterday because I had 2 different conversations yesterday with 2 different people about XRP and about how they really they believe in this coin, and they think this coin is about to do this because there's some people saying it's about to do that. You should immediately unfollow them. If anybody, listen to me. You guys need to listen to me, okay? I need you to understand this because I've been where you are, and I lost my first cycle. I can't tell you how much money I lost. Like, I quit counting. I lost so much money listening to people. And let me tell you something, guys. This drop right here, if you've been listening to people, the Anthony Lee Crypto Channel has not been telling you that we're fixing to bounce. We're fixing to run up. Yeah, when we were at 98K, we were looking for 99. Okay, we were looking for 1 more percent. I admit it. 1 more percent. But since then, I have been telling you guys this is down only and massively down only. If anybody out there you've been watching has been telling you that anything else, then they have no business giving you technical advice on this stuff. No TA whatsoever, because this is obvious. This is like macro flash. This is not like an intraday trade where you're trying to catch a little 1-minute swing favorite. This is like macro obvious. Like, you can't miss it. So if anybody's telling you otherwise, they're either, I don't want to say too dumb, something like that, to be giving that type of advice publicly to an audience, or they have ulterior motives and they need their audience to buy so that they can get back to break even or something. Okay, one of the two, or they're sponsored. Okay, if they've been telling you anything like that, they're crazy. Okay, and if they're telling you, if you find anybody right now that tells you the bottom is in, click that unfollow button. The bottom is not in. Okay, it is not in. I do think we're closer than people probably think. As far as time-wise, but the bottom is not in. This is not the bottom. We didn't just retest the previous all-time high, and that's it. We're not done, guys. Believe me. And your alts are fixing to get way worse, most of them, okay? Well, we're going to probably have a little relief. We're going to talk about that, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you historically, and I understand what happened historically. It doesn't have to happen now. What is it you said yesterday, Carrie Ben? Something about correlation and causation, right? I like that. I like that. So I acknowledge that. But hang on one second, guys. Sorry, I'm a little Kraken here. I'm going to move it over to the screen. I'm in a trade. I want to be able to manage it. Correlation does not imply causation. That's it, bro. That's it. That's it. Simu. There she is. Bangladesh. All right. Anybody have any questions before we move on? I'm going to show you, if you just got here, if you don't mind, hit up our poll. I'm fixing to close the poll out, and then we're going to go in right into it, y'all. So go ahead and hit the poll up. Let me know when you think the bottom of Bitcoin is going to be. I'm not talking about price. I'm talking about time. That's what we're going to discuss today. You already know my targets to the downside. We're going to talk about time, which I have a little different take on this than most people, I think. And I don't mean the Bitcoin maxis who think we're just going to 500K next month. But I have a little different take on this than what probably most people are saying. All right, let's take a look at the poll. So the question is, when will Bitcoin bottom? We have a dead split. 46% think this month. Another 46% think 2 to 3 months. And 8% think in the fall, like always. In case you don't know, Bitcoin has always, and I do mean always, bottomed 1 year to the month, not necessarily the day, but to the month. If you top in November, you bottom in November. If you top in December, you bottom in December. So always. However, I could be wrong, and I will absolutely admit when I'm wrong. West Coast saying October bottom. I don't think that's the actual, I don't know how to phrase this, okay? So just like we're able to call this move down based upon the monthly 5 and 13 EMA cross. We were able to call this. We were looking at this for 2 months. We were looking for this trade. We were able to call it. As soon as it happened, I told you, boom, there it is. There are certain things like that with those EMAs and price that I'm going to show you. But that indicate how many days until the bottom, and it's pretty dang similar. So the difference here with this cycle is we got to where we are now. We got the cross much sooner, okay? So the question is, and this is something I don't know the answer to, is the bottom just a year later because it's a 4-year halving cycle, so everything is 4 year, 1 year, 1 year, 4 year, you know? Or is it related to these macro average crosses and these macro average levels and things like that? Because we got the cross much sooner. Okay, normally we get the cross. I'm going to show you how many days from the bottom, from the cross to the bottom, okay? And that just makes you ponder. And if what I'm about to show you is true, then we should be at the bottom here within the next few weeks. Now, that doesn't mean a new all-time high. I mean, you could hang out at the bottom for months, okay? But we should bottom in a few weeks. Let's dive in and take a look. This is interesting, guys. And you're gonna wanna like pay attention to this as we get into the potential bottom in the next few weeks. Because if you're looking to spot buy alts, you know, I don't want you sitting around waiting on your alts, or if you're just kind of hanging out, not buying your Bitcoin because you think the bottom's coming in October because we topped in October. Well, that might not be the case. Maybe it is. But let's take a look. Let's dive in. I got a chart here for you guys. All right. So we got a chart, a split screen chart. On the left, I have 2018, and we're going to look at 2022, the last 2 previous cycles. I never go back to 2014. I know I've showed it before, but guys, just don't do TA on 2014, in my opinion. Bitcoin back then was like $20, you know, $200, somewhere in there, between like $10 and $300. And it's just not comparable. It's not relative to a $100,000 asset or a $70,000 asset. It's just not the same. There were like 6 people trading Bitcoin back then, and if one of them went and bought, $40 worth of Bitcoin, the price spiked up 600%. So it just is not the same, in my opinion. I can't find any correlation. I mean, it just for anything, any time frame since then, 2014, 2015, anything 2015 and before, I just throw out all the time. It's just not the same. Okay, so here we go. We are looking at, on the left, we have Bitcoin on. I'm on the daily time frame, but the EMAs, the orange and white lines, are from the monthly, okay? The white is the monthly 5 EMA, and the orange is the monthly 13 EMA, but I'm looking at it on the daily time frame. Oh, and the green is the monthly 55. So does that make sense? The candles are shown on the daily, but I have the EMAs set to what happened on the monthly, okay, where they're at on the monthly. Okay, so we got the cross here. We got the cross here in 2018 in October. That is the I call it the bear cross. We're already in a bear market by that time, but that is the big last leg down of the bear market, okay? And that's what we just got here, okay? We were looking for this for 2 months. We called it Babylon. We were looking for that, right? Okay, we just got it. So the target for this is the monthly 55 EMA. And I know you went below it, okay? You went below it, but the technical target is the monthly 55, okay? If you go below it, great, cool. But that is not the technical target. The technical target is the monthly 55. Okay. When did we bottom? From the time that we got the cross. From the day we got the cross, Bitcoin bottomed, a little bottom there, 47 days later, okay? First of all, you see on the right, I've got a chart, a little chart, with some text there. It says 26 and 47 days. So 26 days, you hit the technical target, the 55, okay? 26 days later, you hit the technical target, which would be, if you're still on a short, for me, that's your take, that's your close your trade, or at least shave off 80%. That is your target, okay? You hit that in 26 days, and you bottomed at 47 days after that cross, okay? 2018. You follow me? Okay, let's fast forward. Let's go look at 2022. All right, here's 2022. 2022 is a little tricky, but I'm going to show you why I think this is throwing people off, in my opinion, okay? So I have on here that you see the cross, right? You see the cross. That is the bear cross, as we call it. Let's measure that out to the 55, which you knifed right through it, but that's not the point. To the 55 was 35 days. And then 5 days later, at 40 days, you bottomed, okay? 5 days later, that was below the 55, but 5 days later, at 40 days, you bottomed. Okay. Now, here's where I think this is throwing people off to thinking it has to be October, because in this case, you technically bottomed in November. You came down here and set another low later in November. However, in my opinion, this is an anomaly. Do you see what pushed this down? Do you guys remember FTX? Were any of you guys around? Let me know. Put a 1 in chat if you're around or remember FTX, guys. Put a 1 in chat if you remember the crypto exchange FTX. Max remembers FTX. Max the only one that remembers FTX. Europeans remembers FTX. I remember FTX. I'm going to put on the chat with you guys. Salt Chain, Carry Bands. All right, Eugene, Thanos. Everybody remembers FTX. Okay, so FTX happened right here on November 6th. That is when the news was released. Actually, that's when smoke came out. I will remember. I don't remember who said this, but I was watching some influencer at the time, and there was like some whispers on November 6th. This was like a Saturday or Sunday. Let's see. It was a Sunday. There were some whispers about FTX. Nothing was confirmed, but just some whispers that there was some trouble there. Something was going down, but nobody knew. And I remember watching the next day, that Monday, this influencer said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And he told everybody, if you're on FTX, you need to get everything off right now. And it was that very next day, just massive, boom, dump-ola. That's when everything broke. All the news actually broke right here about FTX. So it was 2 days after the whispers. And I'll never forget, he said, where there's smoke, there's fire. In other words, it's coming. So this was FTX, and that was the big scandal. If you're not familiar, FTX was the largest crypto exchange in the world. It was ran by a feller named Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, as he's better known. He's in prison now. He was leveraging your alts. He was money laundering for the Democrats. He was sending money to Ukraine for the Democratic Party and then funneling it back through FTX. He was doing all sorts of shady stuff, right? Nothing against Democrats, nothing against whatever. I'm just telling you what he was doing, okay? And this was proven. He went to prison for it. He's in prison today. So, I mean, they froze everybody's assets. They sold them all off. They stole them. The U.S. government had to seize them back, and I think they eventually distributed some back to people. But it was just a nightmare. And that is an anomaly. I mean, that is like C-19, pandemic. I mean, that is just stuff that just doesn't really happen. So, in my opinion, if not for this, if not for that, okay, and I know that happened, you had already bottomed. Okay, you'd already bottomed 40 days after the cross, and you were kind of working this range and going to work your way out of there, right? In my opinion, you bottomed 40 days, just like the previous cycle. You bottomed 47 days after the cross. But this was all FTX. FTX did most of the selling, as a matter of fact. This was mostly an FTX sell-off, which caused liquidation spike. And then you just danced around and came right back up, okay? But this made it happen in November, so it made it look like, does that make sense? It made it look like it was a year later. And I just think that's an anomaly, in my opinion. Because if not for that, I don't think you drop down there. Like at that time, you've got right before this happened, and here's why. Let me go to the weekly. I mean, at that time, look, you've got, look what you got, guys, at that time. And I know it doesn't mean anything necessarily, but you've got momentum waves coming up. You've got a weekly green dot. You've got weekly bullish divergence. You've got stochastic headed up. You've got all the things that say we're fixing to pump out of here. And then just this one, look at it. It's one freaking massive red candle out of nowhere. The technicals don't suggest that, and I know Bitcoin can do whatever Bitcoin wants to do. Technicals aren't always right, but the technicals on a macro weekly time frame suggested weekly bullish divergence, weekly green dot, momentum wave headed to the upside, stochastic headed to the upside, and in the bull zone, it suggested we were fixing to Adam and Eve out of here. And if you don't know what an Adam Eve pattern, it's this: Adam, Eve, pulling up and away, but instead you're in, because you had a scandal that came with the world's largest crypto exchange right there. So to me, this is invalid. That is I don't count that. And I guess technically it's there in price. So some folks are going to argue for that. I'm arguing against that, and I'll gladly be wrong, okay? So had that not happened, in my opinion, let's say that your average here is 40 days and 47 days, okay? To the bottom, we are currently on day 16. Okay, these hit the 55 moving average at 26 and 35 days. That's an average of 30 days, so 1 month after the cross. So let's go out 30 days. That's going to put you right here about February 19th, okay, in about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks from today, if statistics hold true, we should be hitting this right here. We should be hitting that, okay? So something like that, should be hitting it right about there. And then you might do what you did before, which is dance around it a little bit for about another 2 more weeks. And then you start working your way up and out. I think it could be an expedited cycle. I really do. And I think we could get a little spring move. The summers are always terrible. I don't care if it's bull run, bear market, any year in between. The summers are always dead. But I think we could get a spring rally here, guys. A good one, actually. So let's go back to 2018 and let's talk about that from the bottom, okay? Let's talk about from the bottom. I'm gonna stay on the weekly here. So when we did bottom, okay, when we did bottom here in 2018, we finally hit that bottom, that 47 days after the cross, right? That is when we got our bounce. We got the bounce from the bottom. And I'm just talking about this little bounce here, okay? Little bounce there gave you 35%. I'm not talking about the big run-up you got after that. I'm talking about the little bounce, the bounce on the bottom before you came back and consolidated for a couple more months, okay? So that's what I'm talking about, guys. That's going to time up perfectly right there with Marchish, somewhere in March, right? Early to mid-March. You run up for a couple of months, maybe 6 weeks, get you a percentage gain. We're going to get 2022, and that's going to take you into the summer, which is always dead. And so you roll back over in the summertime, and then you consolidate a little more before pulling up and out in the fall. Call me crazy, guys. But to me, the technicals line up with that. To me, the bottom being 1 year later is a coincidence. And the technicals lined up with that on those years. The technicals don't line up with that this year. I think I'm right. So far, this cross has been money. And so days from the cross, days to the cross, we were able to tell you days to the cross within like a 1 week window, days to that cross, based upon the bottoming from the previous cross on the 5 and 55 monthly. So I think we're on to something here, guys. This is how I'm playing it. And we'll know. We'll be able to tell. I'll be able to see a bottoming structure when we get down there. That's okay. If we get down there and I don't see a bottoming structure or signals, then cool. We just don't worry about it. But you have to be prepared for it, and this is what I'm planning for. So I think we're much closer to the bottom than you think. I think we're 2 weeks away from our target of the 55. I think we go below the 55. You guys know that. The 55 is coming in about 63K now. I think we go below the 55 for a couple of weeks, and then I think that's it. I think that's the bottom. So we'll see. We shall see. I can assure you that I will be one of the only ones saying this on YouTube, okay? So I may very well may be wrong, okay? But I don't think so. Even if I am wrong and that's not the bottom, regardless, even in the case, I forgot to show you 2022. So even in the case where we did roll back over because of the FTX debacle there, when we had this first bottom, that I call it, we still got a 26% bounce there, okay? So either way, whether we come back or they hit a little quote-unquote bottom here and bounce, I'm sorry, that was a 43% rally. Where did I get 26? 26 was just his first little thing, but we actually continued up for 43%. 43, so we had a 37 and 43% rally. So we could be looking for something like a 40%, 30 to 40% rally, in my opinion. Price doesn't move. Percentages aren't as great as they were back then, so probably something more in the area of 30% would be reasonable. So if we came down and bottom, let's just say 60K. Although I actually think we go a little lower. We could be looking for a bounce somewhere up around the 75 to 80K range. It's hard to say right now because we're not at the bottom, but somewhere around in there, which could be a heck of a rally. And even more for alts. Let's go take a look at that. So if you're planning to spot trade your alts, that will probably be the first big one that we get. Let's go back to, I like to look at a coin that has history, enough history to go back that far. So let's look at Algorand. I think I marked this out already. Why does this keep being in green? All right, so this is the area last cycle where we got the bounce, the bottom, Bitcoin bottom, and I want you to pay attention to this. So we got the bottom bounce, Bitcoin bounced 26% to the first little high. Algorand did 39%, so almost double. And if you count the entire bounce, where Bitcoin did the 40 whatever percent it was, Algo got a 65% bounce. So it got about double what Bitcoin got. So this will be a good alt trade if we can catch the bottom of Bitcoin. However, what I want you to notice is, unlike Bitcoin, that this was the bottom, and then it just kind of consolidated, just, do, little bounce, and then consolidation. Yeah, it rolled over for FTX, which was here, okay? But then Bitcoin pulled right back up and out and went. unlike Bitcoin that did that, alts continued down. Okay? So just because you bought them for Bitcoin does not mean you bought them for alts. So be careful with your alts. Sure, you're going to get the bounce when Bitcoin bounces. Absolutely. That's a bounce. They're going to follow suit. But right about here, this is when Bitcoin dominance took over, and Bitcoin dominance started just banging its way up, okay, which crashed altcoins down. You got some good bounces in here. These are big bounces. Now, these are nothing to sneeze at. These are very tradable bounces, okay? I'm not talking about you traders. We're going to trade the heck out of this. I mean, that's an 85% bounce. Yeah, we're going to trade that. But I'm talking about for you holders, you hodlers. You just move down. You just continue from at least on algo here, from the time Bitcoin bottomed, and we're going to call this the bottom, never mind the FTX thing, you still move down another 68%. Okay? In my opinion, you should not look to long-term spot buy altcoins to hold when Bitcoin bottoms. Algo's not the only one. Go look at them. Most of them continue down. There were only a couple that I found that did not continue down. Ethereum didn't continue down. I'll show you ETH. That was right here. Right here. Boom. That was the bottom. And that was the bottom. Even when so ETH bottomed lower. Look how low ETH bottomed. Look how low ETH bottomed. And this is where FTX went under, and Bitcoin set a new low. Bitcoin set a new low. This is how I know. This is how I know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I know that the technical bottom for Bitcoin was back here. Even though I understand it technically set a new lower low, ETH did not. Do you know why Bitcoin did and ETH did not? Do you know why? Because everybody and their mother thought this was the bottom for Bitcoin. Imagine this is the Bitcoin chart. And everybody just thought we were going to 500K immediately. And everybody and their mother 100X leveraged right there. So when FTX started selling off and all that nonsense started happening, it was real easy to liquidate a whole bunch of folks and catch a liquidity ride down, okay? I can guarantee you, we could go back and look, I can guarantee you this was not from actual sellers. Oh, Bitcoin moving down, guys. Bitcoin moving down. So the bottom for Bitcoin was much sooner. It just technically bottomed later. Anyway, that's ETH. Let's look at, say, H-bar. I know H-bar was around back then. All right. Here's the bottom area for Bitcoin. Right in here, right there. That's the bottom for Bitcoin. H-bar had like an October 10th style wick here prior to, but the bottom for Bitcoin is right there. Then you got the bounce, and then you rolled over just like Algorand, just like pretty much everything except Ethereum. You roll back over. This is the FTX wick right here. Let's look at Solana, which Solana probably looks awful back then. It was caught up in part of that FTX stuff. Yeah. This was the Bitcoin bottom right there. And you rolled over and set new lows. Remember, Bitcoin didn't do this. Bitcoin did this and then pulled up out of there just like Ethereum. But your other alts did not. You got the good bounce, but you continue down another 74% for Solana. Let's look at one more. We'll look at Doge. Doge held up really well. Matter of fact, Doge looks better than all of them. Wow, this is where Doge set the bottom for Bitcoin's bottom was right there, and Doge, that's actually pretty impressive. But it's the only one. It's the only one. All the rest of them look terrible. Ethereum even looks worse than this. Ethereum rolled back over and double bottomed. Ethereum double bottom moved out. This one didn't even do that. This one bottomed and moved up only. You know, again, I don't. This was Elon Musk tweet. Elon tweet back here. So this is kind of a different ball game, but your everyday alt is not gonna bottom with Bitcoin. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Let's go look at Bitcoin. We're moving down, guys. Hope nobody's in a long trade. Let's refresh. But when Bitcoin does bottom, we're gonna look to trade that, both leverage trade and altcoin spot trade. So join us in the VIP crew in the Discord. All right, we're coming to my area of interest, guys. Coming to my area of interest. I've got this box. We may have just hit it. Shoot, I need to be paying attention. Let's drop down time frame. We slightly front ran that 2 daily area. I would like to come hit this. Let me set an alert on it. This could be longable. We've got a dang green box right here, guys. We want to watch for the action. Watch for the divergences. I'm going to go to the hourly. I'm going to fly through this real quick. I'm not prepared. Pig's nippling here, Thanos. Pig's nippling. All right, we just took the 2 daily time frame. We're in the dang green box. We got a level below, a daily level below. See if we can get a trade here, guys. These alts are dying. Yellow X is popping up. Ooh, good divergences here sitting in. Unconfirmed on the 6 minute. This thing is headed down. I told you guys. Told you. Are we back? I have to look. I don't know if we're back in that zone yet or not. I don't want to turn away from this chart to look. I'm not sure if we're back in that value area range or not. I don't think so. No, value area range is down below at 67K. That's good. We do not want to get back in that range yet. Got my finger on the trigger, guys. Looking for some reactions here. We are in the dang green box. We got some good divergences sitting here, guys. We even got some unconfirmed here. You can see it's unconfirmed. We'll have another drive. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bullish divergence there. Surely we can get a move from here, right? I'm interested in this area, guys. I'm very, very interested in a trade from this area. I'm thinking about taking this right here and allowing a little drawdown. Let me see how much drawdown I have to allow. If I get the reaction here, I'm going to take it. I like this daily level here, though. I really like that daily level. Two daily levels gone. I'm going to take that off. We get some buyers to step in here. I guarantee you we got some shorts piling in right here. Look at this beautiful head and shoulders playing out right before your eyes, guys. We've been drawing this. You've seen this. Everybody's showing this. Boom. Broke the neckline. We could come test that value area high today, guys. You just don't want to fall into it. You could get trapped in here. This was a 7 or 8 month range right here. If you get stuck in there, guys, you're going to be stuck in mud. And I do think we come into it for sure. I just don't really want to get into it right now. I'd like to get a trade today instead. Anybody in a trade? Anybody along this? Anybody in a short? Let me know if you're in a trade. Just not getting any strength here, guys. Sorry to sit here and waste time. Salt chain's just waiting. Max is waiting for the signal. You get the signal, brother. You let me know. We'll do it together. I'm not the signal, am I? Carrie Benz is waiting. John is waiting. Everybody waiting. I like this area, guys. This is it. This is the dang green box. I put it on the chart for a reason. Because I expect a reaction from this box. But it's been relentless downside momentum, y'all. I can't lie. It's been relentless. This is nasty. Gosh, these alts are dying. Salt chain says you are the signal. I don't know about that. If I'm the signal, gosh, we're all in trouble. You want to long it? See if we can break some of this. We might long this. I might long this. I'd at least like to get back above the, at a bare minimum, get above that. And even, why does this keep coming in green? And even then, I'm going to have a very tight stop. Very tight stop. And I'm going to TP extremely quickly. Close me at 1 minute above that. I'll take it. I'll tell you what, though, guys. You could move up and out of here if you get some strength. Look at these higher highs. And I know this is the 1 minute time frame, but, I mean, you see all this, right? You see all that. Higher highs, higher lows, but there's just no strength sitting in here yet. None, nothing, like less than nothing. See what you got on a little more higher time frame, like the 12. Got a lot of divergence here. Guys, if you could get into this stuff, if any bulls could step in here, if anybody knows anybody, you could really rip up through this. Then you have these relatively equal highs here. You could liquidate. Same thing all the way, guys. Look at all this. None of this. When they do come for this stuff, and I believe they will, they're going to come fast for it. And these liquidations, you could just literally just domino effect these. Boom, 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 boom. And put you right into this imbalance right here. Around 80K. Which was kind of our target that we just looked at for when we do get our good bounce. They're going to come for all this right here. It just don't look like it's going to be right now. Bitcoin is 68K. Remember those guys that you were probably listening to a few months ago that said Bitcoin can never go below 100K again? There were lots of them. Any questions on the bottom? Anybody have a different opinion? Y'all think I'm just way off base here with the cross and the timing to the bottom? I'd be interested to hear your take on it. Bitcoin going down, guys. This is ugly. We're nowhere near anywhere I would take a trade. We do have good divergence here, though. It's unconfirmed, but that's 12 minute. We've got it all over the place. John doesn't think I'm way off base. Thanks, buddy. I don't think I am either. I hope I'm not. How much cooler would this be to start a cycle sooner? Or not even the cycle, not even like the blow off top or the big leg up, and just to crawl out of this stuff and have some positive momentum for some better trades. This is hard to trade. This is hard to long anyway. It's easier if you're shorting, and it's very easy for accumulation. But it's hard to long. You can't really long any of this. I mean, like if you long this, you just roll over. Then you long this, you just roll over. Long, roll over. And we're going to catch one. We're going to hit a home run in a little bit on a long. But you can't short this either. Even though you look at this chart and you're like, well, why can't I short it? If I'd shorted it this morning, I'd have made 7%. Because you just can't short something that's down like 50%. You just can't do it. Not with high probability. Sure, it would have worked out, but you just can't. We are much closer to the bottom than we are the top. So it's just hard to short near what's likely the bottom. because shortly very soon they're going to induce enough people to go short right down in here. I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if they came down to this value area range and people thought, okay, value area range, we know the rule. We're going to the value area low now. Let's short. And then they trap like 100 million shorters right there. And boom, 80K. Here we go. That's all they're waiting. They're waiting on enough people to short right here till they have enough liquidity to move up and away and take it. The reason you keep pushing to the downside, and you can go look at it in order flow, and I'm one of them, but I'm not holding on to my trades. Everybody and their mother keeps longing. So they just keep squeezing down. I'm not one of those. I'm longing, take a profit, stop loss, stopped out, in profit. But most people don't do that. And most people get wiped out. And that is just rocket fuel to the downside. Long squeeze after long squeeze. If we can get above this yellow line, I would consider a long. Did we go to 67? Oh, wow. 67.9, guys. 67.9. All right, coming up on our yellow line. I'm going to set an alert just above it. Go back to the 1 minute. I'd like to get a trade with you guys in. But I'm telling you, even if this is the bottom for now, even if we have a 10% bounce, it's got to prove itself, guys. I'm telling you, stop being, and I'm not saying you guys are, but people are being fueled to continue to push us down by not taking profit, getting liquidated, getting stopped off for losses. That's fuel to the downside. If we want the downside pressure to stop as a whole, the entire crypto community, the trading community has got to stop that. Take profit quickly, stop loss to entry or in profit. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. Look for the next one. But stop being fuel for a long squeeze down. All this looks good. If we can just find a little traction here. It all looks pretty good. But it's looked good this entire way down. Every one of these has looked good. That's the problem. I mean, look. You see right here. Boom. 15-minute confirmed bullish divergence. A little move up, roll over. Same thing. Boom. Confirmed bullish divergence. A little move up, roll over. Same thing here. Confirmed bullish divergence. A little move up, roll over. There's just no strength. The market is full of fear. No. You're trapping enough shorters here to move up a little, but then no buyers are stepping in. Getting close. I shouldn't even fool with this long. I shouldn't even fool with it if it gets here. Because it's probably going to do the same thing. I just kind of want to get in a trade with you guys. So, again, if I do take this trade, I don't care if it runs up to 100K. I'm TPing quickly, stop loss to entry. And if I miss the big run up, I miss the big run up. Or I'll still catch it. I just will catch it with a lower margin. It's not looking good, guys. Might as well just move on. Any questions on this? On this days to the bottom that I think it's going to be? We're not very far from that 55 monthly 55. Bitcoin's only 7% from it. Only 7%. He could do that today. He could do that tomorrow. It probably won't, but it could. Salt Chain has no questions. Guys, I'm trading on MEXC today. MEXC. I pinned it in the comments. MEXCtrading.us. I'll flash the banner. Boom. MEXCtrading.us. And I also trade on KCEX. KCEX. There's that banner. KCEXtrading.com. Affiliate links below, or just go directly to the links that I just told you. KCEXtrading.com and MEXCtrading.us. Lowest fees in the game. You get free money just for signing up. You get free money. They gave me a free 150. I hadn't traded on my KCEX in a while. Y'all know I've been on MEXC for a few weeks. So they gave me like a free $150 like to come back. But I had to use it. I couldn't withdraw it, so I had to use it. So I just 100x leveraged it and made $320 something. I gave them their 150 back and kept my 320 profit. Normally I would never 100x leverage, well, sometimes. But I just did because it was free money and I couldn't take it. I couldn't withdraw it. So, and it worked out. It was a good trade. It was an SFP trade. All right, I don't guess anybody got in this trade yet. Good. This could be an entry right here. If they come down in 1 minute, 1 minute divs here, this could be a W pattern with 1 minute divs. If we take the bottom, take the low here, come to this daily level maybe, take the low, 1 minute divs, that could be a good trade. Yeah, we just took the low. And we just took the daily. Yeah, there it is. Daily's gone. Look to pop here. This might be a trade. All right, guys. Well, if we don't have any questions, I think that's about it for today. Not much going on. It's just relentless downside pressure. If we do get these SF, this is not a trade. Not yet. If we do get, so for me to take this trade now at this point, we'd have to come back, and even then, I'm not crazy about it. We'd have to come back. I'm on the 1 minute time frame, very small time frame. We'd have to come back and take this market structure change, confirmed market structure change. And wherever we top here, I would wait for a pullback, 618, 786, maybe 0.5. Enter there with a market structure change, right? Then you would have a higher high, market structure change, even short-term bullish. You could possibly catch this leg here, but that hasn't been the pattern. But it would be something like this. You know, you came here and finally you had a market structure change. Change structure from there, finally set a lower high, got the pullback, and then you traded that up to there. It would look something like that. That's about the only way I would take this trade. Yeah, brother, it's tanking, man. It's tanking. So other than that, I'm not interested. If we don't get that market structure change, I am not interested. So be cautious. It is in free fall mode. We called this. We knew it was coming. I'd be interested in a value area high reaction here too. If we get a bounce there, I would be interested in that. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to be in Discord the rest of the day. If you need me, holler at me there. If I do take a trade, of course, I will let you know. Other than that, not much else going on here. I do think the bottom's near, so we shall see. If we get it in the next few weeks. Oh, that's WorldCoin tanking. Everything's tanking. Everything's going down. All right, guys. I'll see you.